Bezras Hashem, we're going to continue now explaining. We asked yesterday why, when the Rambam brings the third proof for the coming of Mashiach, the third proof is from the cities of refuge. This proof from the cities of refuge he brings separately. He does not bring it with the first two proofs from Parshas Nitzov, from Shav Hashem Elokecha Shvuscha, and the second proof is from Parshas Bilam. The third proof is from Ari Miklat, but the first two proofs he puts in one halacha. The third proof he brings in a separate halacha. Why does the Rambam bring the proof, the third proof, in a separate halacha? So base. Sharayim Ari Miklat, Hilay Rak Legabi Anamar Valacha Shalifnei Zeb Binin Bias Mashiach V'Chalal, Hadligam Letechan Amadubar Valacha Shalachreze. We can say that this proof, why does the Rambam separate this proof from Ari Miklat in a separate halacha? Because the Rambam is not only bringing a proof for what he said in the halacha before it, which in the halacha Aleph, the Rambam is speaking about that he's bringing proof that Mashiach is going to come. So if you would bring it in together in halacha Aleph, I would say that this is all part of the same context to bring proof that Mashiach is going to come. This that the Rambam brings this in a separate halacha, because the Rambam is saying it's not only proof for what it says till there in halacha Aleph. This is a introduction for what the Rambam is going to speak about in halacha Gimel. So why does he put it in the middle to tell you it's not only proof for what it says before? If it would be together with all the proofs, I would say it's all one context. It has nothing to do with the next halacha, with halacha gimel. Therefore, the Rambam brings it in a separate halacha to say that it's not only a proof, but it's also introduction for the next halacha. It's a proof of what the Rambam says in the next halacha. Now, what does the Rambam say in the next halacha? The Rambam writes like this. You ready? This is the words of the Rambam. V'al yala al daitcha, it shall not come up to your mind. Sha'melech HaMashiach tzarich lasis eisis u'meivsim, that the King Mashiach must make signs, wonders, and miracles to prove that he is Mashiach. Do not think so. And to revolutionize things in the world, to create new things in the world, to make new things, to change the order of the nature of the world. No. Or to resurrect the dead, or the like of such type of stuff. It's not so. What's his proof? The Rambam brings a whole story, a proof, the way Rabbi Akiva acted with Ben Koziba HaMelech. Rabbi Akiva said that Ben Koziba HaMelech was the King Mashiach, and Rabbi Akiva didn't ask him to perform any wonders or miracles to prove that he's a Mashiach. So if you're going to say the Melech HaMashiach must make signs and wonders and miracles to prove he's a Mashiach, how could Rabbi Akiva, if this is the way you know who's a Mashiach, they're making a miracle, how could Rabbi Akiva say that Ben Kozib is a Mashiach without demanding him from a miracle? This itself, that he said he's a Mashiach, without demanding him for a miracle, proves the Mashiach does not need to make any miracles. What is the proof for this idea, for this concept? Cities of refuge. What does cities of refuge mean? If you need cities of refuge, when Mashiach comes, it means that people are going to be killing people, and you need a city of refuge to save yourself. People need to be saved from the killer. So therefore, you need a city of refuge. This is proving to me that even when Mashiach is going to come, in the days of Mashiach, the world is going to be running regular. There won't be any change in the world. So gam al zeh shelo yiyaz kol chidush ba'olam yeshechacham atzivid lahisiv adi miklat lasid lavi. On this concept that there will be no revolutionary in the world when Mashiach comes, we can prove this from the commandment to add more cities of refuge in the time to come when Mashiach is going to come. Hamalamdeinu shegam yemesa Mashiach ya'ilam kivin hagunai. This comes to teach us that even in the days of Mashiach, the world will be running regularly the same way it's running until now. Of a male movement, shall Yizahu in Yoni Shal Mashiach, V'lo Yizahu Zoyi Abchina Al Zeh Shul Mashiach. From this, we can understand that this is not Mashiach's concept, this is not Mashiach's criteria, this is not Mashiach's purpose and goal, and this is not the way we can figure out who is Mashiach. How can we test who is Mashiach through making a sign, a wonder, and a miracle? It's not so. Where do we see this? from the city of refuge. So you understood the answer we said until now? Why, when the Rambam brings the proofs for Mashiach, the Rambam separates the proofs from the cities of refuge and doesn't bring it with the first two proofs from Pashas Nitzavim and Pashas Bilam. He brings it separately because it's not only a proof that Mashiach is going to come like it says in Halacha Aleph, rather it's a introduction for Halacha Gimel, that the Rambam is coming to prove that Mashiach does not need to perform any miracles. Where do we see? Because you're going to need cities of refuge. But the Rebbe says, it's very hard to say that this is the reason the Rambam brings the proof of Ari Miklat in a separate halacha, and explain that this is the Rambam's opinion that Mashiach is going to, when Mashiach is going to come, the world is going to be running regular and people could be killing each other when Mashiach comes. It's very hard to say so. In kavanas Rambam leimer shmeisavis Ari Miklat yeshraya muchachas lekach shamalach Mashiach ein tzarich lasis eisus umevsim. Machadish the one by Elam, or Yoim is Ace Befedush. Or Frashes, or Rai mi Posik with Silver Betena, Vilo Rai Shemen Kozibo, he Medivi Vidroshes and Azal. If the purpose that Rambam brings the cities of refuge is to prove that Mashiach is not going to need to perform any miracles, so the Rambam needed to emphasize it and say clearly that this is the reason he's bringing this proof, to prove that Mashiach doesn't need to make miracles. And it's even stronger the question. You can't say that the Rambam is bringing this to tell me that when Mashiach is going to come, there won't be miracles. Because how does the Rambam prove that Mashiach is not going to make any miracles? How does the Rambam prove it? He brings a proof from Maimari Chazal that the Rabbi Akiva did not demand from Ben Koziba to make any miracles. What do you need to bring a proof from a Gemara if you have a clear pasuk in Torah that says when Mashiach is going to come, the world is going to be running regular because you're going to need to add cities of refuge. What do we see from this? That adding cities of refuge is no proof at all that the world will be running regular. First of all, the Rambam doesn't say that he's proving it from there. And second of all, why does the Rambam need to add a proof from a Gemara if you already brought a pasuk? So obviously this pasuk is not coming and is not proving to me that the world will be running regular when Mashiach comes. The Yeseidim is even more than that. We sign in Allah Shabbat Maschal Rambam as Halacha Gimel Shla Achrei the Al Yala Al Daitcha Shamalach HaMashiach Tzarich Lasis Eisis Mevsim HaMachadish Tvarim Ba'elam V'lei Ve'ena Malach HaMashiach Tzarich Lasis Chulu Mashma Shagam LaAchrei Halacha Beis Winin Ari Miklat Lasid Lavei Yichelu Liyes Kasalka Daitach Yala Al Daitcha Shamashiach Tzarich Lasis Eisis Chulu Ela Sheshelu Limzeis Mishum Binin the Rabbi Akiva Chulu. Even more than that, after the Rambam says you're going to need to add cities of refuge when Mashiach comes, how does the Rambam start off Halacha Gimel? It shall not come up to your mind that the King Mashiach has to make signs, wonders, and miracles and change things in the world. What do you need to tell me? Don't even think. It shouldn't even come up to your mind that Mashiach needs to make miracles. Why does the Rambam need to tell that to me? If you're going to tell me that Halacha Gimel base from Ari Miklat is proving to me that the world will be running regular and Mashiach won't make it perform signs, wonders, and miracles because it says we're going to add cities of refuge when Mashiach comes. So why does the Rambam need to start off Halacha Gimel with saying the words, don't even think? What does that mean? That I will think. Me on my own, I'm going to think that even though I need to add cities of refuge, still the world will be running regular. Mashiach will still make miracles. And the world will change. Yes, you need to add city of refuge. Okay, that doesn't prove to me that Mashiach's not going to make miracles. It's not proof to me that Mashiach won't make miracles. I still think Mashiach's going to need to make miracles. Therefore, the Rambam needs to start off Halacha Gimel with saying the words, it shall not come up to your mind that Mashiach needs to make miracles, which means that adding cities of refuge is not a proof for Halacha Gimel. Because if it would be a proof, the Rambam wouldn't need to speak in such a form of saying it should not come up to your mind that Mashiach needs to make miracles. In simple words, this that the Torah says you need to add cities of refuge when Mashiach comes, this is not in any way a proof for the concept that Mashiach doesn't need to make wonders and miracles. So why does the Rambam bring the proof from Ari Miklat in a separate halacha? he's not also from adding cities of refuge is not in any way a proof that when Mashiach's going to come, there won't be a change in the world. Even though we need to add cities of refuge, still there won't be killing. Still, there will be miracles, and therefore the Rambam needs to add and tell me Mashiach doesn't need to make wonders and miracles. And this is also seemingly from what the Rambam continues in the next chapter in Perikut Bezik. The Mashiach says, the Rebbe says in footnote 18, "Okay, the Mashiach Magab Alosh na Rambam Shamresh Perikut Bezik al Yala al Halev should be amazing Mashiach Hift al Dover Miminag Shalom." The Rambam says it should not come up to your heart that in the days of Mashiach, the way the nature of the world, the way the world is running now, it's going to change. You should not think so. Kesalka Daitach, Sheyuvutal Dover Mimanag Shalom, Gamla Achere Shadin and Advar Savis Ali Miklot, Lost Lovit, Shabchin al Mashech, Eina Bezeh, Shetzarich Lasis Isis Hulu, Al Khadish Dvar and Bailam Arabi Fnim. Right, so this at the Rambam, after saying that we're going to add cities of refuge when Mashiach comes, after the Rambam says that the way you know who is Mashiach is not through performing miracles, the Rambam needs to add in chapter 12, it should not come up to your heart that something is going to change in the nature of the world when Mashiach comes. What does that show me? That I have no idea from this that we're going to need to add cities of refuge. The concept of adding cities of refuge when Mashiach comes does not mean that the nature of the world will not change. It could still change. And therefore the Rambam has to emphasize it. Which means, in very simple words, the concept of adding cities of refuge is not here to prove to me that the nature of the world will stay the same when Mashiach comes. That's not the purpose of this proof. So what is the purpose of the proof of bringing the proof of cities of refuge when Mashiach comes? So we need to add 3 more cities of refuge. This was the question. Why do we need it? And why does the Rambam bring it in a separate halacha? You try to say this is a proof for this, that there won't be miracles, and it's in a separate halacha because it's introduction to the halacha about this, that Mashiach does not need to perform miracles. But we said that it's not a proof because the Rambam, if this would be the proof, the Rambam does not need to bring me a proof from a Gemara, and the Rambam doesn't even need to say it in a way that he's coming to teach me a chiddush over here. If the whole purpose of halacha basis is to prove there won't be miracles, so what are you saying it in a way that if there's some chiddush? What do you need to say again in Perikut Beis that it's not that the world is going to stay the same? I know that already from Ari Miklat. Rather, adding Ari Miklat when Mashiach comes is not in any way a proof for this idea that there won't be miracles when Mashiach comes. So why do we need this proof? B'ezras Hashem, and why is it in a separate halacha? B'ezras Hashem, in the upcoming classes we will analyze this and explain this.